Time. Origin stories aren't only limited to the coffees we serve. We too are all a product of the process that took us to get here. Historically, we've believed a coffee's origin and variety told us pretty much everything we need to know about what we'd experience. But nowadays, we know that process adds needed context and complexity to what we thought we once knew. People are the same way. What we see on the outside may give us some indication of what to expect, but their process, the journey they've went through, adds context to them as well. Head judge, your water is right here, and for you, allow me to let you into my origin story. Oldest of 6 kids. Tech file? Tech file? Music? Everything just cut off. Everything cut for a second. Can we please restart? Yeah. Thank you. So do we pick up from where we started, where we were, or just full reset? How do we do that? Just making sure. Because everything just, I would like to start over. Yeah. Thank you. Can you check that mic, please? Yeah,
we are going to start from the beginning, Anthony.
Thank you.
Let's give a round of applause, please, for Anthony.
Yeah, thank you. Take 2. Music! There we go. Time. Head judge, this water right here is for you. Origin stories aren't only limited to the coffees we serve. We too are all a product of the process it took for us to get here. Historically, we've believed a coffee's origin and variety told us pretty much everything we needed to know about what we'd experience. But nowadays, we know that process adds needed context and complexity to what we've thought we once knew. And people are the same way. What we see on the outside may give us some indication of what to expect. Their process, the journey that they've gone through, adds needed context to them as well. So allow me to let you into my origin story. Oldest of 6 kids from 2 teenage parents. I would be the first of my family to go off and attend college. It is August 19th, 2011, and we are driving to my first semester when we swerve off an embankment. I fly out of the car, landing in a ditch and breaking my neck in 4 places. The car lands on the driver's side, crushing my mother's left arm and leaving it permanently paralyzed. Upon my recovery, it became vital for me to step into a provider's role to help take care of my family. With family being at the absolute core of what makes us who we are, the coffees I'll be presenting to you today will showcase the journey of 2 coffee families from Colombia. First, our Espresso. Humberto and Maria Lopez have been coffee producers for 45 years, producing traditional Colombian varietals such as Catora and Castillo on their farm in Tolima. Their son, Milton Monroy, followed in their footsteps and took them to new heights as he dedicated a quarter of their farm to producing stunning geisha lots, such as the anaerobic natural one that we'll be experiencing today. Now, when I say took them to new heights, I mean this both literally and figuratively. This coffee is produced at the highest elevation of their farm and has been described as one that touches the sky, hence its name, geisha clouds. Higher elevations means cooler temperatures, which means a longer fermentation and drying process. Stored in 60-kilo tanks for 84 hours with intentional movement every 12 hours to ensure even fermentation. Next, 6 hours of draining prior to the first phase of mechanical drying to ensure that no overly fermented flavors appear in our cup. This gives us a less boozy experience than typical anaerobic coffees and lends us to that soft acidity. Lastly, they're placed on raised beds to dry for 32 days at 18 degrees Celsius. This lends us to those beautiful, beautiful stone fruit flavors. Now, judges, when I hand you your espressos, please immediately evaluate crema, then stir in a back and forth motion until your thermometers read 52 degrees Celsius. I've extracted this coffee at a ratio of 20 grams in to 46 grams out so that you can experience the following flavors after 20 seconds of extraction. Raspberry, mango, and clementine. It'll be a light medium body, a silky mouthfeel that spreads to the outsides of your tongue, and a medium but pleasantly dry finish reminiscent of black tea. Lastly, deposit your demi-tasses in that vessel provided to your right. This one's for you. This one's for you. This one is for you. And last but not least, for you. I'll be right back with you all. For our milk course, we'll be using a different coffee, which will bring our second coffee family into the equation. Brian Alvier, another second-generation coffee-growing prodigy from Colombia, learned his trade from his father and brought to us this beautiful pink bourbon that has been fermented with dehydrated strawberries during its primary processing. This lends us an intense strawberry aroma in the nose, and we'll be pairing this with a cryo-desiccated milk. We freeze-dried skim milk, turning it into a milk powder and removing all of its water contents to give you a powder with more adaptable sweetness and mineral content than typical freeze-distilled coffee. By pairing this at a 1-to-7 ratio with whole milk and 35 grams of our espresso, we will give you guys an experience of strawberry yogurt, peaches and cream, caramel, and milk chocolate. I wanted a chance to showcase Brian's coffee because our journeys in a lot of ways parallel each other. He is only 19 years old, and he's just welcomed his first child into the world. At 19, I began my journey into the coffee industry. I started as a barista to find a way to help take care of my daughter. Being a young parent raises your stakes. Success becomes mandatory, and work ethic, a survival tactic, not only for you, but for everyone you hold dear. For my mother, my siblings, and my 3 children. I didn't enter the coffee industry because I had some random love for coffee. I did so because I needed to find a way to pull us out of our circumstances. So, working multiple jobs became my never-ending process. Nights bled into the next morning, closing restaurants at 4 a.m. just to be back at the cafe by 6, exhausted and overworked. I remember every morning stopping and making myself a cappuccino before our doors opened. Now, your story may be different than mine, but we all know this feeling of trying to find peace amidst the storm. Judges, I may not know your battle, what you've had to overcome, but what I know is we are all here today, which means we have another opportunity to be thankful for breath and for having the strength to continue on. It's in these moments that we learn the importance of truly taking care of ourselves. I've had to learn the hard way. You can't just work yourself into the ground. And there is no taking care of your loved ones if there's no you left to do it. Judges, please enjoy this beverage. I'll be back with your final course in just a moment. But here's yours. Wow, none of it really. No, leave that. A year and a half ago, my father was murdered, and it sent me into a downward spiral. I had to learn to start relying on the people around me. Learning to meet people where they are in their journey taught me that we are all our best when in collaboration. So today's signature beverage will showcase what happens when all of these journeys meet at a point and collaborate to become greater than the sum of their parts. Please wait until I call time to enjoy this beverage, but your recipe is as follows. 50 grams of Milton's Geisha Clouds, 40 grams of Brian Strawberry Pink Bourbon, 30 grams of Oleo Saccharum that we created by submerging Meyer lemon peel and magnolia flower in white sugar for 24 hours. The oils excrete from the Meyer lemon peel, and we strain it to get a syrup. Next, 10 grams of fresh squeezed Meyer lemon juice. Our activating agents for flavor in this beverage will be our espressos. The stone fruit flavors in the geisha combined with the strawberry and the pink bourbon to give us raspberry sorbet and peach tea. The oils from the Oleo Saccharum give us white wine, and the magnolia flowers pair with the florality in our geisha, the florality in our coffees to give us lavender. Lastly, I'll be adding 90 grams of a house-made seltzer used to create vibrancy and also to highlight the best parts within our beverage by giving it all space. Your final flavor calls will be as follows: raspberry sorbet, peach tea, sparkling white wine, and lavender throughout your finish. Whether it be coffee or people, we all need space to breathe. Oftentimes in service, we give so much of ourselves that we become an empty cup, giving trees that have forgotten to water themselves. So we water ourselves until we give ourselves room enough to grow. We grow until we feel whole enough to give again. This is our cycle, our process. We are our motives, our trials, and our tribulations. We are all of the things that we have survived. Time.
And